Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Bebe Means Business Show. I'm so glad you could join me, but that means that you're alive and well, and that's really what I want to hear. My name is Bebe Clement, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, and I'm your host today. And you are tuned into the Bebe Means Business Show. Listen, this is the only show you need if you are in business, because this is where you come if you need some education, information, inspiration in relation to anything and everything to do with business and in your quest to become financially free. I'm the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, details of which you have on your screen. And you can purchase that book from Amazon for $12.99, or you can go to my website and buy it from there. And my website address is www.bbclement.com. I'm also the owner of a group of small successful businesses which I run from London, UK. And I'm also the leader of Black Businesses UK, which you can find on Facebook. We have nearly 4,000 members, so if you're a Black business owner, that's a good place to go if you need somewhere to network. Okay, you can take a minute, if you will, to just connect with me on social media. My Twitter handle is @Bebe Clement, that's B-E-B-E, Clement, no S. And my Insta is BB_Clement. Just to let you know, as always, that this is a live show and is an interactive program, and we love to hear from you. Any questions that you have in relation to anything that we discuss, just type them in the chat on Facebook or call us or whatever. And you can hook us up via Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @StarRadioUK, that's STARR. Radio UK, or you can text or WhatsApp us on 07539 661 744, or email us at info@starradiouk, or join us, of course, as most of our viewers do, at Facebook at Star Radio UK. All right, that's all the housekeeping out of the way. Just to say that, these are really difficult times, especially if you are in business, and you need to be able to stay focused. You need all the help you can get to stay focused. And hopefully this program is helping you do that. Don't get distracted by what's happening, because even in the midst of what is happening, the craziness that's happening with the whole pandemic, some people are becoming mega rich. So you got to make a decision as to whether you are going to be one of those who's going to be wiped out, or you are going to stay focused on your goals and what your plans are for your business, and you are going to succeed even in times like these. Okay, now for those of us who are in the UK, October is always Black History Month. So I thought for the whole of October, I was just going to highlight successful Black businesses in the UK, those who are doing well and who have a story to tell, who have tips that they can share with us as to how to be successful in our business. I'd like to thank my guests for last week. They were two very accomplished women who are business owners. First one was Cynthia Akisanya, who is the managing director of Delights by Cynthia, and she's a bespoke cake maker. If you haven't checked out her cakes, please go to her website. That's Delights by Cynthia. She does amazing cakes. And then we also had on the show Tony Onabo, who is the MD of Heritage Editing, and she was my editor. Those of you who have read my book and thought, this is such a fantastic book, I have her to thank for a lot of that, because she did a brilliant job on editing my book. So if you have a manuscript, screenplay, book, whatever it is that you want edited, she's your girl. Now, I just want to recap real quick before I introduce today's guest. I want to recap some of the things that we discussed last week, because I think they're important. One of the things that Cynthia in particular emphasized was the importance of having excellence as standard. Excellence as standard. And this means from whatever angle or whatever stage your clients interact with you, be it at the website, be it in the way you pick up the phone, be it face-to-face, networking event, whatever it is that you are doing, whatever interaction you should have with your client, excellence should be your standard. It should be a given. So in fact, they shouldn't even have to thank you for a good service. That should be standard. So we don't always hit the mark, but that should be the goal, okay? we also talked about the importance of self-discipline in business. Self-discipline and time management, and both of those women emphasize just how streamlined their lives are, as indeed is mine. Although I think I was falling down a bit on the home front, because they both said that on that day they had been at their desk since 6:30, and I never get to my desk at 6:30 in the morning. I think the earliest I managed was probably about 7 o'clock. So I'm falling down on the home front. But the point made is that we must be disciplined and focused. You haven't got time to be, watching omnibus editions of EastEnders and all that when you should be working. You haven't got time to be scrolling through miles and miles of pointless WhatsApp messages and rubbish that people send you. If you are serious about your business, you got to stay focused. And Cynthia also talked about the importance of passion, and this is something that I emphasize as well. Don't go into a business just because you think you're going to make money. Do a business that you know you are passionate about, because passion sells. It sells all by itself. Passionate people are impossible to ignore, and if that passion is what is behind a product or a service, it will sell itself. Passion also, it helps you through the bad times, and there are lots of bad times in business, lots of times where you want to give up. But if you're passionate about what you do, that passion will drive you through the dark times. So we talked about things like that. And lastly, I set you guys a challenge. I don't know if you remember my challenge, but my challenge for the week was that you make a conscious effort to buy black. So I want to hear from you. If you took me up on that challenge and you have bought black this week on purpose, let me and my viewers know about your experience. Were you happy with that, or do you think that the people that you bought from could improve their service? Let us hear from you, and we will share your thoughts during the program. Okay. All right, today I thought I'd give the guys a chance, since we had just women last week. So today I thought I'd give the guys a chance. And I'm very, very proud to have on the program with me today a very special gentleman who is doing amazing things in his space, and I'm sure he's going to share that with you. So I'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Steve Asagye, a.k.a. Steve Spotlight. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, how you doing, Clement?
I'm good. You're welcome to the Bebe Means Business Show. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, Steve, to kick the show off, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
My name is Steve Asagye. Most people know me in the industry as Steve Spotlight. The reason being for the Spotlight is my businesses, I actually have Spotlight in them. So I run two main businesses. I operate in the entertainment field as well as in the social media and digital space. So my two businesses are Spotlight Music Management and Consultancy. So it's basically it's an entertainment, music management and consultancy business, as well as a Spotlight Digital Marketing Agency. So where we help small businesses to use social media and digital marketing appropriately to be able to reach and target their client audience. So I've been in the music industry for over 20 years, while I've been doing digital for close to 12 to 15 years, about 12 years, literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so you say you're in the music industry. Are we talking mostly African artists?
For now, yes, because I wanted to take my skill set to help a lot of African and a lot of Black artists that don't have the experience that I've had over the last 20 years, understanding the structure and how the music industry really is, particularly on the international space. So I really wanted to bring my expertise and my know-how and my years of experience into that space to really help the talented African artists to really achieve their dreams and financially be able to make money and sustain their families from it.
Okay. So I'd like you to name drop now. Have you dealt with anybody we would have heard of?
A couple. Literally, I've worked. One of my major clients has been people might know him as JJC, who is Funke Akindele's husband.
Okay.
Literally, he's been my client for like 6-7 years. So he's the one I did with African Skank, that now married to the famous Funke Akindele. Literally.
She's an actress, right?
Come again?
She's an actress, right?
Yes, Funke is like the #1 actress on literally in Africa. Has over 10 million followers on Instagram, and like she's a brand that's known internationally from the Nollywood scene. So he's a recording artist, but also he is a movie director and a film editor. So I've managed his career for for a long time, 6-7 years, even before we literally went to Nigeria together to kind of re-energize his career. I've also worked and done projects from Fino to Olamide to I've worked with movie directors as well. There's Obi, he's a director that did the Mirror Boy and Last Flight to Abuja that got nominated by won 12 awards and been on CNN based on certain campaigns and
so Netflix, I think. I saw it on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. So I've worked with a lot because of how long I've been in the industry. I've worked with some of the biggest promoters in the UK and in Nigeria and a lot of the artists. I've either worked directly for them or I've consulted for a lot of them. So I don't want to really name drop, but important people, definitely.
That's fine. Thanks. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so let's kick off with some of the things I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
One of them is that some people are saying, I don't know if this has been your experience, but some black people are saying that as a result of the Black Lives Matter movement and the whole George Floyd, scenario, that their business as black business owners has increased. Has that been your story? And if so, do you think that is down to guilt or an awakening of conscience or a recognition that we actually have something to offer?
I think it has been. I think I've had a bit more attention of people trying to inquire for my services from the digital and from the music space. But also, I think it's also a balance of both, where you've always known this business was there, but you always kind of ignored it, and you never really gave it as much attention. Also, after the David Floyd situation happened, then a lot more light was brought to it. And I think some people, it's not intentionally, but they were not aware of it. That listen, there are a lot of other businesses that are not really represented, that don't do as good work, but don't give them as much opportunity as possible. And you can call it ignorance, you can call it foresight, as much as we can, but it brought a lot more attention. And I think for us as black people that run black businesses, it's for us to be able to take advantage of that, because either we like it or not, in 6 months' time to a year's time, that whole attention that we're getting right now might leave. So what are you going to do in that window that you actually have to be able to market yourself and market your business and the services that you do present? But in you doing that, you have to make sure that you deliver on the quality of the highest standard. So when it does leave, people are like, you know what? I liked yourself so much that no matter what happened, I'm going to recommend you and I'm going to stick with you and your business will continue to grow. So at times, all you really need is just that one customer or that one client or that one, business that literally shoots your business through the roof. I mean, if you, in Nigeria, there's a company called Paystack that literally, they were a VC company and they literally just exited 200 million. Last 5 or 6 years, and they got bought in by Stripe, literally. But there's no way those guys would have exited that business with that much money if they were not delivering on a high level, no matter if they're in Africa or whatever it is. So somebody must have seen the quality in their business structure and what they were delivering to say, you know what, we're going to invest. They raised 10 million. They initially raised 10 million. So they must have been doing something right, and they must have sustained it. Because a lot of us, we can talk the hype and talk the talk and have sweet mouth, but when people come in, are you going to be able to keep them? Are they going to be able to, when you're not in the room, are they going to be able to help you promote your business even when you're somewhere else? So that's when you really get recurring or true business or value of your business, when somebody speaks on your behalf before you come into a space. Yes,
you're so right. I think this is so important. I can't emphasize it enough. I know that I do talk about this a lot, but excellence in our business has got to shine through. And like you said, who knows how long this window of opportunity is going to last. And I'm a strong believer in marketing yourself shamelessly. Do what you need to do to market yourself. Be proactive. I've started getting my team to actually approach companies. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I think is it Lloyd's or somebody has given the FTSE 100 an ultimatum that they have to increase black presence on their boards. And so I've actually got my team beginning to write to FTSE 100 companies saying, listen, we're available. If you're looking for somebody on your board, we have people that we can supply to you. We've got to be proactive. Nobody is going to give us a free pass, ladies and gentlemen. So now that door is slightly ajar, you have got to put your foot in it and kick it just that little bit more further open. So start thinking about what can I do to be proactive in promoting myself. Get on not just boards, but get on networking groups. start engaging on social media rather than just post, silly posts of you eating some food or something stupid like that. Begin to, start debates, contribute to issues that are coming up. Say something that makes sense to somebody and puts you in the spotlight, so that, just like Steve said, even if this opportunity closes, people will remember you. Yes. People will remember you, and by then hopefully they'd have had a flavor of what it is that you can do. I like what you said about it's not even just about what you do when they're in the room. The real litmus test is what people say about you when you're gone. And my aim is always to change clients into fans. That's what I'm always wanting to do, because once you change clients into fans, they tell your story. You don't have to do that much marketing. They will tell your story. I can't tell you the number of people who have called me and said, listen, you don't know who I am, but somebody heard you speak somewhere and I'd like you to come and speak. They've never even heard me speak, but they know somebody else who's heard me and was just so psyched that they spread the word and they contacted me. Yep. So you need to give your very best, and you need to turn it on all the time. I was watching that documentary about Michael Jordan recently, and one of the commentators were saying that, it's important that players turn on the magic, and Michael Jordan never ever turned it off in all his career. And that's what I want to be said about my business, that I gave 100%. When I was speaking to one person, whether there were 5,000 people in the room, I don't care. It's not about the number of people in the room. Whether I was paid for that gig, whether I wasn't paid for that gig, I don't care. It's about my personal integrity in relation to the business that I run and the services that I offer my client. I'm going to give 110%. And I think that as for my viewers, I want you to aim for that as well. Give 110%. Don't be shabby in your services.
Yep.
Okay. Steve, I wanted to ask you something. This is quite personal, but I think it's important. Something happened to me recently, and I wanted to share this. I know your wife is quite entrepreneurial as well. We were very fortunate. We had her on the show a little while back, and she was giving us some advice about purchasing property. Now, I was recently on a show in America. It's called Let's Talk Marriage, and on that show it was like this. It was a live show and people were calling in, and a guy called in and he said, listen, I was talking about the effect of finances on marriage, and how if you're having financial problems, how that impacts on the marriage and stuff like that. So a guy called in and he said, what do I do if I encourage my wife to go into business and she ends up being more successful than me? And I was like, okay. Okay. So, but clearly, I mean, this was a genuine question. You don't just call into a radio show and say something like that. So this was something that was genuinely an issue for him. So I gave some advice about it. And then after the show, I was inundated with like questions from other guys about this, so much so that in the end, I don't know if you saw this, but I did a whole video on it, and I put it on social media, how women could recognize whether their husbands were feeling insecure about their success and what they could do to address that matter. And again, the response was phenomenal. I never realized that was an issue, because thankfully that's not an issue between me and my husband. So I wanted to know, how do you guys handle that? I mean, how does it work in your home?
I think, listen, I think even if anything else, I think it comes down to you as a person knowing what your value is, and knowing that you, regardless of who is more financially successful, because success comes in different fields. Because you can be someone that's more successful, she might be bringing in more money, but when I go out, people know me more than they know my missus, based on the field I'm in. So, like, we can't walk down the street before 20 people might see me at an event and say, Steve, before they have my missus. So you have to put your insecurities on check, because I don't look at it as she's more successful. I look at it as we are more successful.
Yes.
If I'm successful, you're successful. Like, there's not, it isn't a you or me business.
Yeah.
It's us business. Because whatever you're doing is for the beneficial of our family. You know what I mean? If she's bringing more money in, then that's all. She might just be in a field that she really loves, that just financially bringing more money in. It doesn't mean that can happen for you. But I think as men, the support that we give each other, and it's not just one person giving it to the other, is the support my wife gives me is enormous. And so support that I give my wife is like, I think I even tell her that she can do more things that I think she's actually even doing. It's like, listen, I only think I can do this and that. I'm like, yeah, but you can write a book and you're going to speak on this stage and you're going to be in front of TV, because I want her to be all she can be. That is the essence of, like, because there's nothing more than, because it's not just my wife or the mother of my kids. She's a mother and she's a person that has a lot of dreams that she wants to achieve. She also wants to be able to stand on her own pedestal and like look around and be proud, and I want to be proud for her. So I think, take away the mentality of it's her or it's me. It's an us, and it's for your family. It's for a legacy that we are building together. And I want my daughter. I've got 4 kids. I've got 2 girls and 2 boys. I want my daughters to be able to look at their mother and see all the stuff that she's able to achieve. I want my sons to be able to look at me supporting their mother so they can support their wives and their sisters exactly the same way. You understand? So let's take away. I know at times we've come from maybe a generation that has always been, it's about the man, and you know, if you don't do all you're supposed to do, or you're not the one making maximum of the money, then you are less than what you are. But also on the flip side, it's also for the woman to also to understand that from a male perspective, we also do have egos. We also have a certain level of like, now you're not talking to me anyhow, Abi, because it's you that's making more money than me. You know what I mean? My wife wants me to succeed more than anything else. She wants me to be known in my field and to be. So even with that, like, even I'm like, okay, it's enough. Like, I'm like, okay, it's enough. I know you. So I know she wants what is best for me, and I want what is best for her. So at no time should I feel her success is demeaning me or whatever it is. Forget what anybody else thinks or the outside world thinks. What matters is what is in my household, how we view each other, and how my family and my kids view us. That's what that really matters. The rest is, you know, so I'm always going to support her 100%. I'm always going to push her 100% so that she does the same for me. You know, and there's nothing more I'll be proud of than when my wife is deemed like on Forbes list. Before, I might not ever make the public, but if she gets on the Forbes list, we as a family are on the Forbes list. Your side is on the Forbes list. Yeah. You know, so I'll be proud of her no matter what. You know what I mean? And that's how every man should look at their spouse, because it's a partnership. It's not you above the person or the other. That's just my standpoint, and that's the way I've always been. That's the way we should always be, because once you have that mentality, especially as a family man, you have kids. If you want to look down on your wife achieving a certain success to a certain level, if let's say I just have boys, that is what my son is going to see. So that means they're going to have the same mentality. What if they have sisters? Forget they have wives. What if they have sisters? How are they going to look at their sisters achieving more than they are? You understand? They shouldn't be on that. You be all you can be. And support your wife, support other women. Listen, women are the greatest gift a man should have. Yay! The greatest gift. No, seriously. They're the greatest gift. You guys were put on this earth not just like to do so much for us, but so in us giving back, why don't we allow or support you to be everything that you can be and more than you should be? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So we've always been like, I want you to be great. I want you to be great. I want our family to be great. What can we do in achieving that greatness? If she's great, I'm great. Then the greatness is on. Our family has a legacy that that cannot be touched. So that's what I stand for. You know, but
Perfect. I love that. It's almost like listening to my husband speak, because he's pretty much of the same kind of mindset. I mean, I can't thank him enough. He's always been the wind beneath my sails, always pushed me forward, always encouraged, always strengthened, always been involved. You know, so yeah, that should be a normal story, because like you said, we're not on opposing sides. We are a team. That's how it should be. And the reason why I raised that issue, obviously, like I said, I didn't realize it was that big an issue until that, you know, the response from that program. But aside from whatever you're doing in business, there's always, you know, our business is like an iceberg. Yeah. What happens on the top is important, but what is more important is what is going on behind the scenes, what is going on beneath the water. So if you have the dynamics where, you know, there's friction in the home, it will impact on your business. Just like if you have health problems, it's going to impact on your business. The same thing, if you have issues in the home, or there's friction in relation to your business and your ability to be the best that you can be in relation to your business, it's going to impact on your business. You are not going to fulfill all that you're supposed to fulfill. So it's important that we get these dynamics right, so that we can be the best that we can be. Okay, just to remind you guys that we're going to take a break at 2 o'clock, just before 2 o'clock, so get your questions ready. I want to do one more question just before we take our break. I want to talk about support networks.
Yeah.
Now, I was reading a recent survey, and they were saying that 50% of Black business owners said that they have difficulty building a support network. So they often feel that they are struggling in business on their own. Have you found that to be true? And if so, what have you done to rectify that?
I think to a certain extent, that's true, because I think we always think our support network just entails our immediate surroundings. So you say your friends haven't supported you, your family haven't supported you. You guys, how many people have you like kind of promoted my business to? You guys know I do this thing. I'm a social media consultant, for example, but you've never come to me for social media help. Like, why are you not, then you keep it in and you don't speak. But like you said, a lot of the time you don't self-promote your business. You don't tell your friends that, listen, this is what I do. If you ever need help with this area, or if you need like these services, I would, and from a professional perspective, sell it to your friends and your colleagues. And I'll try not to just rely on my immediate circle, but you come out of your circle and you come out to a bigger network of people. Your circle is not just your family and friends. Just on LinkedIn alone, you can find out right now, because I'm a social media consultant as well, besides being in the music industry, I surround myself with a lot of social media groups that I'm in. That is my support network. If I'm trying to land a new client that is in a certain industry that I've never had experience in, like now I'm going to be dealing with a book author, and I might not have done social media management for an author before. I'm going to ask a lot of other people in that space, how can I best bring value to this person? What do you guys advise me to do? So that is my support network, because they know my industry and I can always rely on them for help and support. I'm like, yeah, go, you can get it. Go get this job, go get this client, and kind of sign them up for whatever it is. So I think a lot of the times, because I think it also maybe comes from our background, we're very family and friend oriented, and that is always our go-to for support or help. But I think from a business perspective, come out of that. It has to be beyond that. If they do, if they don't, because if you literally just look at your immediate friends and family as your support network, it's just like if you're just expecting all your business to come from your friends and family, there's no way you can scale up. You're going to be limited in the possibility of how big your business can grow. I mean, how many friends and family do you really have that are going to pay you the money that you need to be paid, that you can go to bed and no money is coming in? It's not possible. So I think we have to get away from the mindset of because also look at it like this: who are you supporting? Because there's only so many people one person can support. If I have 4 friends and I'm supporting all of them, and I have another friend that's not really as close, I'm not supporting them, I'm like, listen, everybody needs support now, but don't just rely on them. Go beyond that space and just really reach out. You'll be so surprised. There are a lot of support networks out there. You're always also still going to get family members that should support you. That doesn't mean you shouldn't stop marketing your business to them continuously, because time is going to come, and it's also something out of mind, out of sight. If your friends don't know that you do a specific role, and for a long time, after like 6 months, they might come in contact with somebody that all of a sudden needs social media help. But if I didn't remind them last week or last month, they might forget that, oh, Steve is a social media consultant, because everybody is going through their own household, their own stress, their own issues in life. And at times, they might just forget because it's not consistently in their face.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing marketing yourself, marketing your services, marketing your wins as well. Because the more you win and you show your wins on your social, on your feed, among your friends, the more that to them, they now have credible proof that they can tell other people that, listen, he manages JJC. So if you need an artist, or if you have a cousin or a son that wants to go into the music industry, yes, my friend, he's the same person that manages this other big artist that I know that you know. So they're able to speak from not just his my friend perspective, but they have proof of, like, this is what he's done and what he's achieved. So I think it would be a good person for you to kind of speak to. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Steve, sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there because we need to take a real short break. Guys, don't go away. Just grab your glass of water or whatever it is that you need to do. We'll be back right after the break. Thank you. Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Okay, welcome back to the BB Means Business Show. I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and today I have the honor of having Mr. Steve Osage, aka Steve Spotlight, on the show. And he's been talking to us about giving us some success tips regarding his business and telling us a little bit about his journey, his entrepreneurial journey, and some of the things that we need to do. Just before the break, we were talking about support networks and some information or the results of some research that I was sharing, that 50% of black business owners in the UK were saying that they felt that they didn't have good support networks. And Steve was saying that you need to look for support networks beyond your comfort zone, basically, beyond your family and friends. And as those of you who listen to this program often know that this is something that I emphasize a lot. You got to go beyond your church. You got to go beyond your family and friends. You got to even go beyond your people group. You can't even be dependent on just your people group. You've got to go into deeper waters. There's only so much you can get in shallow waters. You've got to branch out into deeper waters. But as regards networks, I'm a big believer that your net worth is determined by your network. So since the whole lockdown thing has started, I've seen a massive increase in networking online. Of course, I'm going to take this opportunity to promote my network, which is Black Businesses UK. If you go onto Facebook, you will find us. Really good, really interactive networking group, but there are loads of them around. I also lead what they call these, I've forgotten, another group of entrepreneurs that we all meet every week, and we just brainstorm as regards ideas for our business. A mastermind group. That's it. I'm getting old. A mastermind group. I lead a mastermind group, and so those two are brilliant for support networks. You get ideas, and as I say, iron sharpens iron. So it's important. What you can't afford to do is just sit there, behind your desk, hoping that people are going to come to you, because you'll be waiting for a long time. You need to get out there, and you need to tell your story. You need to tell your story online. One of the things that you can do is to have video testimonials. So every time I speak somewhere, or I try to do this when I remember, I get somebody immediately after to do a video testimonial, because then they're still in that space. They've just listened to you. They're still psyched. So if they do that video testimonial and you've done your job well, then it comes across with all the conviction and all the passion that they feel in the moment. So you need to get things like that and put them online, put them on your website, put them on LinkedIn or wherever it is, so that people can see that, and that tells your story for you, and that increases your network. But you must do things to increase your network. Get involved, and get involved with other people's businesses. Listen, there is room for all of us. You don't have to be afraid. There's room for everybody. So don't be afraid to promote somebody else, or that kind of thing, because don't think that somehow diminishes you or takes business away from you. There is room for all of us, and you just never know where that is going to lead. Collaborations, as I always say, are everything now. The day of us doing it to death on our own in our little corner of the world, that day is gone. It hasn't served us well. We've got to get away from that mindset. You've got to collaborate. Even something like this, even something like hosting Steve today is a collaboration. He's going to gain from me. I'm going to gain from his knowledge. My viewers are going to get information that they wouldn't normally get from somebody in his space. So this is what I'm talking about. You've got to get out there and increase your network. Okay, so Steve, let me talk a little bit more about developing a global mindset for business. And I'm very, very big on this. Now, I know you operate out of the UK, the States, and Africa. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, how can you get our listeners to start thinking global?
You have to. You have no choice. I think luckily for me, because I operate a lot in the digital space, and with COVID this year, you realize that you're one click away from reaching somebody in China. You're one click away from having somebody buy your product from Germany. If you're in the UK, in the US, if you're in Nigeria, if you're in Ibadan, They're in some small village in Scotland. So you have to look at your services and look at your product or whatever it is that you sell, and know that it doesn't have to be within your locality alone. I have a couple of clients that I've done working basically in the States, in Nigeria, in the UK, that I've consulted for in Singapore that I've never seen. So no, even if you have a service that you provide, if you have a product that you sell, you can literally sell those products to anyone around the world. You have, for example, if you have a product that you sell, you have Amazon that can procure your products for you and send it to anywhere in the world for you. They've already kind of created a system for you to plug into, and you can reach anyone. I literally consult for people that are thousands of miles away from me, which I do by Skype, which I do by kind of Zoom call. So you have to have the mindset on understanding that your business, we don't live in a localized market anymore. We live in a global environment. And so for you to be able to, so you're not competing as well with global companies, which is also a good thing. So just before, when you would see, oh, these companies are global companies, and how would I be able to reach their own a global customer base? But based on you being in front of your computer, being able to utilize all the tools that digital and social media gives you, you're able to reach anyone, anywhere, sell your service, sell your business. Let me just quickly say this. There's a lady in Scotland. All she does, she goes to the Scotland Hills. I'm sure you must have heard the story. She takes a bag and she runs around the Scotland Hills and does like this and takes air and seals the bag up in Scotland, and she sells it to people in China. Like literally.
No.
Bag. Google it. She was on I think it was CNN or BBC. She takes a bag, runs around and captures the air, seals it and sends it to China. So basically China obviously has a bad pollution or whatever it is. So she's saying, so this is where branding, marketing and social media comes in. She's like, listen, I'm giving you like 100% Scottish air made in Scotland, the high hills, in the mountains. So she's showing a video of her running around, capturing the air and bagging it, and people in China are buying it at 200 or 300 pounds or whatever it is per like pure air. Like literally. Wow. So if she can do that, yeah, bagging air, what are you doing for your business? Like, no, seriously. At times it comes down to that simplistic level. If she can bag air and sell it to somebody that is across the ocean from her, what is stopping any of us from you selling your book, from me selling my services to anyone that's thousands of miles away from me? Because the same person that needs social media services or music consultancy in the States is the same that needs it in Nigeria, the same person that needs it in the UK. It's just for me to connect with them, find out where they are. And that's what digital marketing and social media platforms allow you to do. Connect with your audience wherever they are in the world. So you're not limited. So once you know you're not limited by who you can touch, then you start to have a more global mindset in how do I present my business for the global audience, not just from a localized audience. So let's say you have like a video that you've done that is in Yoruba language, for example, and you live in Nigeria. You have to know that for you to be able to communicate that to someone that is not Yoruba speaking, you might have to translate what the text or whatever it is to English so that it reaches a different audience. You know, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate, how do you present it so that somebody else that's not in your localized market might understand the services and the product you're trying to sell? Because obviously normally you will sell it based on your localized space so that they understand whatever services or whatever product you're trying to sell. So once you start to think internationally and think, this product that I'm selling, as I'm marketing and promoting it, who do I need to promote it to? And the vehicle I'm using to promote to them, would they understand that vehicle? Would they understand that message that I'm trying to, or do I need to now tweak it a little bit? That's why even for posters that are being done by like international film companies, when they are releasing in different territories, they have to change the text on the, so if the one is coming out in the UK, you have English. If it's China, they'll change the text. They won't change some of the promo clip so that audience, it resonates with that audience a lot more. It's literally, they're thinking on a global mindset, and that's what we all need to do in our little space with each of our businesses. Have a global mindset in regards to what you're doing and how you are trying to present it.
Okay. Yeah, I think increasingly, like you were saying, I can say personally that increasingly a lot of my clients, I've never even met them. They're in different countries and they hire me to speak particularly again since this whole lockdown, because it's easier to speak now online and I don't have to physically go there. I never even meet them. They call and my team set it up and I speak and that's it. But I think what you said is really important, that you need to be able to adapt your product.
Yep.
So that it appeals to whichever market it goes to, and you got to be careful with that.
The product and the messaging as well.
Yes, the product and the message. You're so right. The product and the message. Even let's not even talk about on an international scale. I think even within, let's say, was it a localized sale, you need to be able to speak the language that your clients understand.
Yep.
And that the language your clients understand is not just determined by their culture. It can also be determined by their age. It can be determined by their social status, that kind of thing. You need to be able to speak the language of your clients or your target audience. And this is why it's important that you know who your preferred client is. Who are you marketing to? Because there are certain things that might appeal to a middle-aged woman in the UK that have absolutely no relevance to a middle-aged woman in Africa. So you need to be able to speak their language. That's important. Thank you. Thanks for that. Thank you for that. But I think the message is, ladies and gentlemen, the message is the day of small time thinking is over. You got to start thinking global. You got to start thinking global.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now I wanted to quickly speak about this. Every week, myself and my producer and the team, we sit down and we look at the stats for this program. And one of the things that I've noticed is that week in, week out, I think bar 1 week, we have more men than women watch this program. And I think this is a reflection of not just this show, but in relation to business generally. Even though we have more women progressing in other fields. So for instance, in the UK, there are now more women, I think they outnumber the guys 2-1 going into medicine, to study medicine. And different fields like that, women are beginning to take over big time. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, particularly in the UK, there seems to be, it still seems to appeal more to men. We've also discovered that the age group is also different. The age group of the men that listen to this show the most is between 35 and 44. Whereas for the women, it's between 45 and 55. And I found that quite interesting. Why do you think that business and entrepreneurship still appeals more to men than women?
I think you'd be surprised. I know a lot of women that are into entrepreneurship. It's just that for us men, we do a lot of research. Women just go ahead and get stuff done. So that could be a reason why you might think a lot more men are tuning in, because while we're listening and trying to get information on the right way to do business, women are just going ahead and just doing it. Like they're literally just plugging away and learning from their mistakes. And I mean, from my mother or a lot of the women around me, I know a lot of them are always been entrepreneurship in some kind of one way or the other. So I think it's also reflective of maybe it might be the country that you're in or the time of day or so on and so forth that people are actually tuning in. That could be another factor that might need to be factored in. But I think it doesn't really matter, because the way say men get information might be totally different from how women are getting their information. So they might be reading a lot more books or consuming the knowledge in regards to entrepreneurship or business from other areas. They might be listening to podcasts, compared to we were visual creatures, so we want to see what it is and hear at the same time, But I think as long as everybody's just trying to gather information, the way, and that's the thing about social and digital, you consume information the way, that suits you the most. I don't know how my wife, I'm an audio person, besides being a visual person, my wife likes to read a lot of stuff. But I like to see and I like to listen. I can listen to podcasts from morning to night. But she's not really, I'm always trying to get her to, listen to this podcast, and I can multitask as well as be doing other things but still be listening. But she only wants to focus on one thing at one time. She doesn't want to be distracted by 3-4 different things. So though I might be watching this, I'm also still be working at the same time, but still listening to your radio show while working on whatever project that I'm doing. While for her, she can't do both. She has to just focus on one without doing the other.
That's unusual. It's usually the reverse, to be honest. That's unusual. Okay. All right. Because we wanted to talk about black businesses,
Yes.
I wanted to know what have been your challenges as a black business owner? Do you think you've been held back in any way by being a black business owner?
Held back is, I think nowadays I've become very careful in regards to not trying to put a blame game on anyone, on blaming anyone. Because when you say you've been held back, I think in the age we're in now, we would like that opportunity is being given to everyone equally. But you said one thing, that you have to, right now, you cannot afford to play defense with your business. You have to attack and go. You have to be like a lion that goes in and try to get deals and try to get businesses kind of coming in. With a lot of us, we expect that, because we're already in this field, business should just come to us because maybe we're good, or because we're already in this field. People should know now. People should know that, I'm a social media consultant. I do social media marketing, so they should just come to me now. But you find out that somebody that doesn't have half the skill as you are, they're consistently marketing and trying to generate leads for their business. So whoever they get in front of, they say you never score the amount of goals you never shoot. So if they're getting in front of 10 people, they're most likely, even if they're getting 3-4 people, but you're not getting in front, maybe you're getting in front of 1 or 2 other people and you get no business come through, then that's literally going to be on you. So, I used to feel that initially at a certain point in time, but my friends are not like, they're not marketing my business to themselves, or you need this business, you don't come to me, or you don't come to ask me for my own services, which you should be paying for. I'm like, you know what? Like I said before, my business is beyond just my immediate friends and family. There are a lot of other people now that pay me for my business and my service when I change my mindset. That, listen, is beyond, I can't just rely on my friends. I have to be able to scale up, and I have to look outside of my initial network. But now I actually have my friends and my family coming to me for business advice, but now I'm charging them for it. So I'm not now even telling you, before where you could actually get it for free, and I would have just, or helped you and given you less. Now I'm saying, no, on average, this is what I'm actually charging people. And I might give you some kind of a discount, but I'm going to take away a certain service because now I don't actually have the time to accommodate you. So unless you are trying to tell me to stop seeing somebody else that's paying me and see you still have to pay for that service. So you have to be willing to deliver on a high level, because one thing I've always told you, I was telling my son this the other day, that no matter what it is that we do, make yourself undeniably good at what you do, that even if somebody doesn't want to give you, even if you're being discriminated against, so to speak, they have no choice but to bring that business to you because you're that good. Like, we don't like him, but he would deliver.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that has been my experience as well. I mean, there have been times, I remember there'll be times I'll be speaking to a potential client on the phone, and they can detect from my accent that I'm probably not Caucasian, but they're not exactly sure where I'm from because, I have a pretty Caucasian sounding name. So they're not sure where I'm from, but they can detect an accent. And so they might ask me, or I just turn up at the office, and as I come through the office door, you can see that split second, she's black expression in the eyes, because they didn't know that before. But like you said, I'm a strong believer that people may not like you as a person, but if you're great at what you do, they have to respect what you do.
And you have to
and I'm good at my game, so no matter what.
Like you go in with a certain level of confidence. Be confident in who you are and your abilities. I mean, you're always going to learn, or you're always going to, I might not be the best social media consultant and social media manager, but I come with a certain level of passion, and I come with a certain level of creativity that I know somebody else doesn't have. So I'm not every client's cup of tea. Not every client my cup of tea. I might not always want to work with every single client, but I'm going to come in for the clients that know what my value is, and there's enough thousands of clients out there that would want my services, and I would deliver for them and they'll pay for it. No question back. So go in knowing what your value is, being passionate about what it is that you do, and being able to communicate and articulate your value toward that person. Then then it's up to them. Because I've had clients that have not chosen me, but they've come back later on, because when they've gone around and they've now tried to go to a lot of other individuals, they're not even offering them half what I'm doing, what I'm giving them for the price I'm giving them on. And they don't
that brings me to an interesting point. Again, going back to the whole issue of whether being black has been for want of a better word, a handicap. Do you ever feel pressurized to lower your fees?
Yeah, of course. No, that one comes without saying. I think it comes without saying, where you at times think, this person is trying to beat me down, and I would really need to secure this business or whatever it is. But if you start doing that, that now shows a certain level of you're not that confident in your ability to deliver on what you're going to be able to deliver. So, first of all, like for me as a social media consultant, what I always do is I do what they call a discovery call. So the discovery call is basically which you are paying for. I try to ask what are your wins or what are your KPIs, and based on that,
so everybody knows what a KPI is. What's KPI?
Yeah, KPI is key performance indicators. So it just shows that right, for this project that you're trying to run, for your social media management, you want somebody to be able to come in and post on your page 5 times a week and grow your following from 1,000 to 10,000 in 1 month. So based on that, I can tell you that, listen, based on my experience and my expertise, for you to be able to go from 1,000 to 10,000 in a month is unrealistic. Unless you're trying to get me to give you fake followers, which I cannot do. So I understand that's what you would like to achieve, but this is what I think is more realistic. Let's set these goals based on these parameters. Are you happy with that? Let's go, let's work. Based on, I'm going to, over deliver for you, because I'm trying to help also set your expectations. What happens is, because we want the business so bad, we're just going to, yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do anything. I can
yes.
do without understanding that, listen, based on what you say you're going to do, they're going to hold you to that. It is impossible, or that might mean me losing a check, but I want you to hire me for the next 3 months, 6 months to a year, not just for the 1 month. It's easier for me to keep you as a client than for me to keep on looking for a new client every single month. Literally. So it's always for you to be confident in what you're able to do and deliver on what you say you're going to be able to do. If you can, like you said, if I can't do it for you, I might try and pass you on to somebody else. I think, this person I think might be better suited in delivering that stuff for you. Or let me just guide you or give you a strategy, and I might not be able to help you apply that strategy. You can go look for somebody else because what you're asking to be done, you don't want, because it's not, I'm the expert here, so I'm telling you what is possible. You understand? Although you're paying me for it, but I'm also trying to help manage your expertise.
That's what they're paying for. They're paying for your expertise, really. Exactly. That's what they're paying for.
Some people will be like, but I can only afford this. But if that's not what it cost me for my time, for my service, for my expertise, or whatever it is, then I can't do it for that price. I'm sorry. I can only do it because I know the amount of time and effort it takes me to get that stuff done.
Can I come in there? Because there are a few things that you've said there that I want to, before I forget. One of them is the whole essence of knowing your value.
Yes.
And oftentimes because this happens a lot, the reason why I asked you that question is because a lot of people say this to me, and I remember in the early days this happened to me quite a bit. You felt pressurized. You're so desperate to get the work that you feel pressurized to drop your fees because they start complaining, that kind of thing. You think, if I don't get this one, I'm never going to get another one, kind of thing. But as time went on, I began to understand that was counterproductive. And if you understand the value of what you're bringing, it's important, because that helps you determine that I'm not going to back down. Because it's not, oftentimes when we're given a job to do, we think it's just the job at hand that we're doing. It's not. What the client is paying for is not just the job at hand. For instance, if you hire me to come and speak, you're not just hiring me for the 2-hour webinar you're asking me to do. You're hiring me for the time that I've spent in acquiring the knowledge that I'm going to do. You're hiring me for the effect that I have as a speaker. You're hiring me for the fact that I have amazing presence. You're hiring me for the fact that I am able to influence your people. So if you're hiring me for your company to come and motivate your staff or something like that, that's what you're hiring me for. What you're hiring me for is the value of what I'm bringing. What is the cost to you of having a demotivated workforce that I can help you avoid if I come in and speak to your workforce and get them to get up and go, especially in the midst of this COVID when everybody is demoralized and demotivated and deflated. What is the cost to you as a company to have somebody who can come in and speak to your workforce and get them pumped up and psyched and excited, irrespective of what's happening around them? So what you're paying for is, like you said, is the value is what you're paying for. That's what I'm bringing, not the 2 hours that I'm speaking on a webinar. That's not what you're paying for. Anybody can deliver a 2-hour webinar. That's
12 years of experience. It's my 12 years of experience in the social media space. So I think
if we have that in mind, if we bear that in mind, and we're able to articulate that for ourselves, that actually, it's not just a 2-hour webinar that this person is paying for. It's not just a pair of shoes this person is paying for. It costs me time to pack the shoes. It costs me whatever to package the shoes. Exactly. So that is what they're paying for. And once you are able to get that clear in your own mind, it gives you more confidence in saying, no, actually, the price that I've quoted for you is a fair price compared to what I do. Now, having said that, I do think there are things like strategic discounts. Now, for instance, there have been times that I would speak for free. And I would do that because speaking for free at that particular event is a doorway to something bigger.
Of course.
So let's say there are certain clients that are going to be at that event that normally I would never be able to get in front of. Then I would do it for free, or I would do it at a discount. Because it's not even about the person hiring me, it's about the wider ramifications thereof. That kind of thing. So yes, it's a bit of a balancing act, but it's most important that you are very clear about the value that you are bringing. Okay, all right, we're going to round it up, but one last thing before you go. I'm a strong believer that success leaves clues.
Yeah.
So I want you to drop some nuggets for our listeners or our viewers, what they need to do to be successful in business in these times.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot. First of all, understand that you have to constantly be willing to check, willing to learn. You can't always know everything that you know. Be always willing to grow. Although I've been in the business in both social media and music business for over 15 to 20 years for music, but I'm always willing to learn. I'm always going to go. I'm always going to seminars. I'm always going to other groups. I'm actually always still looking for mentors to mentor me.
Yeah.
So I can be better at what I do, because what you think, the knowledge gap gets so much shorter because of the digital space we're in. What you think was an expertise knowledge like last year, all of a sudden,
it's nothing now. It's obsolete.
It's absolutely obsolete. So be willing to always learn, find ways to always increase your knowledge base, and understand that being successful in business is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's a continuous process. And the stuff that you learn on the journey of you trying to achieve that success, and whatever success means to you, is really, really important. People think it's a destination point, but don't forget that journey on you being able to structure where you want to be and how you get there is so much more important. Being able to have a vision board is very, very important. I remember this about 7 years ago. I wrote on my board that I wanted to have a business in 2 different countries, an office in 2 different countries, and I wanted to be able to be on a stage, speaking at I've forgotten where, and I wrote these things down. And one day, I have a business in. I have an office in Nigeria, I have an office here, I have an office in the States. And what I just said, hold on a second. Within 2 years, I've actually had ticked off those boxes without me realizing it. And I'd also said, I wanted my artists to, when I was managing the artist Heavy, I said I wanted to have a #1 single in Africa. And within 2 years, one day I got a call and somebody said, oh, your artist is actually #1 in Africa, the most requested song. I'm like, so if you don't put it down, there's a certain energy that you have.
Yes.
Writing stuff down. Even to now, yesterday I was telling my wife that, listen, our next set of goals for the next 3 years, 5 years, we need to write it down. Because when you're able to visualize it and see it, so now it's no more just a thought. It's now a target.
Yes.
That universe would help you hit. When you write, no matter how ridiculous you think it might be. You think when, what do you call his name? Jeff Bezos that started Amazon, you think he didn't have in his mind what he wanted to write. He wrote it down, and no matter how long it takes you to get it done, write it down, and be passionate. You said something, be passionate about what it is that you do. There are 2 industries I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about marketing and social media, as well as the music industry, and those are the fields that I am in. I would read and write, I will read and consume every single thing about those industries without even knowing how quick the time actually goes. It's really, really important that you try to, and you can always make money from your passion if you can find a way to monetize it. If you're the best person at playing video games, there are people now that get paid millions for playing video games.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Steve, we're going to have to end it there. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I know how busy you are. Appreciate you coming along. Please give my love to the missus. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again today. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've been speaking. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go on. We've been speaking to Steve Osage. Steve, quickly round this up because we got to go. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on social media on Steve Spotlight, one word, across any social, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my business handle is Spotlight Music Management and Spotlight Digital Marketing Agency on Instagram. And you can get me just to Spotlight, DM me, and I'm doing 5 free consultancies for 5 of your followers on their business.
Thank you.
I review their
Thank
business
you
and
so
give them a
much.
strategic plan.
Did you hear that, guys? Free consultancy. Get down and get in touch. Get in touch with him.
Awesome.
All right. Stay safe.
And
we'll be here again next week, 1:30 p.m. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on
bye
life.
now.
Bye. Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask.